Okay, we are ready. So we are starting the second semester with our unit on circles. This unit is mostly from chapter 6 in the book, but as you see here, it starts with section 1.7. Chapter 1 in the book, we did most of it in the first semester, but we didn't do the section of chapter 1 on circles. We saved it till now. So that's what we're starting with. And just like before, we have a lot of vocabulary to learn because geometry is a language, and we got to be able to talk the talk before we walk the walk. So we start with the definition of circle. The set of all points in a plane at a given distance from a given point. Now I want to take a second and sort of show you an example of the definition of a circle. Because sort of in everyday English and everyday math, people think that this is a circle. That this is on the circle. Well, that is not on the circle at all. Okay? A circle is a set of points that is equidistant from a single point. So pick a single point. And now pick a set of points that are equidistant from it, like this point, and this point, and this point, and this point, and this point, this point. The set of those points is the circle. Every single one of these points is on the circle. But this point is inside the circle. Okay? All this space in here is in the circle. That is not on the circle. Okay? So we're just taking that definition and really understanding the specifics of what that definition is saying. Okay? Next, we have the definition of center. The point that is equidistant from every point on the circle. Definition of radius. A segment from the center to a point on the circle. Also known as the distance from the center to a point on the circle. Next is probably a new definition, the definition of a chord. It is a line segment whose endpoints lie on the circle. And the last one is the definition of diameter. It is a chord that passes through the center. Next, we're going to talk about a tangent line. And we start with the definition. Tangent is a line that intersects the circle only once. The point of tangency is the point where the tangent touches the circle. So here we have a diagram. It's showing us three tangent lines. We have tangent line FE, tangent line AB, and tangent line DC. And we can see that with each of these tangent lines, they only touch the circle one time. The point of tangency for that line is point F. The point of tangency for line AB is point B. And the point of tangency for line CD is point C. So next we talk about congruent and concentric circles. So we start with the definition of congruent circles. Two or more circles that have the same radius. And the definition of concentric circles, two or more coplanar circles that share the same center. And then we have the diagram here showing three concentric circles. So the next topic we're going to talk about is arcs. And we start with the definition of an arc. 2 points on the circle and a continuous part of the circle between the 2 points form an arc. Definition of endpoints. 2 points located on the ends of an arc. A semicircle. An arc of a circle whose endpoints are endpoints of a diameter. Minor arc. An arc that is smaller than a semicircle. And a major arc is an arc that is larger than a semicircle. So on this circle, we have several different things. First, we would call this circle, circle O. We always name a circle by the name of its center. Looking more closely, we see we have diameter, AD. Right, that's a chord that passes through the center of the circle. We have semicircle, APD. APD. Now note that when we name a semicircle, we have to name it with 3 letters. Because if we named it just semicircle AD, you wouldn't know if we were talking about this semicircle or this semicircle. So it's important note that we name a semicircle with 3 letters. Next, we have minor arc, PD. Finally, we have major arc, PAD. And again, we name major arcs with 3 letters to distinguish them from minor arcs and to distinguish the direction of the arc around the circle. Okay, so next we talk about arc measure. And we start with the definition of central angle. The angle with its vertex at the center of a circle. Arc measure. The arc measure of a minor arc is the same as the measure of its corresponding central angle. The measure of a major arc is the same as the reflex measure of the central angle. Fresh. The reflex measure of an angle is 360 minus the angle. So in this diagram, we have a circle. We actually don't have the center of that circle named. If we wanted to name that circle, we would have to name the center. We have minor arc BC. And it says up here that minor arc BC is measured at 45 degrees. And the reason we know that is because the corresponding central angle to minor arc BC has a measure of 45 degrees. Then we have major arc BDC. So that's BDC. That's everything else here, right? And it has a measure of 315 degrees because, of course, if we take 360 minus the 45 degree central angle, we end up with 315 degrees. And that is the reflex measure of 45 degrees.